Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. I'm so excited. I'm going to throw this one over to Mac and Natalia. They're going to talk a little bit today about harassment in the workplace and how you, as the person getting harassed, you can deal with it. So it's all about resolving conflict. Take it away, Mac and Natalia.
Hey, thank you, Michael. Again, this is another topic we're going to be talking about today, and that is on bullying, harassment, and discrimination conflict resolution issues. So all too often, people go to work and they have to deal with harassing, name calling, belittling. They have to deal with coworkers who are not so nice. Some people say that social media has revealed that we never left high school, that adults grow up but haven't quite grown up. They still act petty. And this continues even in the workplace as well. So conflict is something that happens not just in our everyday professional lives, but also at the workplace. And so I want to just talk for a few minutes on how do you deal with these kind of workplace conflict issues, okay? So conflict does not just embrace the bully and the victim, but these kind of conflicts that happen in the workplace, they affect the entire workforce, the entire workplace community. It affects everybody from the top down. People who are instrumental to helping the business function and move forward, they can get affected negatively because of bullying, harassment, and other kinds of discrimination.
And someone might ask, okay, so maybe I just be silent over it, maybe it's just too much of a fuss to even go down into it, but please don't be an ostrich. Don't avoid the problem, because it's like with a painful place, painful spot on your body. It can only grow bigger and then explode in the least convenient moment. So there are so many ways to clarify all those issues, to work on them within the workspace environment, and you need to just know that those sort of conflicts, especially when bullying and when harassment, especially sexual harassment takes place, they can really affect the health of the employees. They can make them suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. They can make them suffer from other mental health issues, and it's not safe just for them, but for the entire community they work in.
So you understand the problem. So now what's the solution? There's different ways you can address toxic workplace environments that deal with bullying, harassment, especially sexual harassment and other things like that. One, there's ombuds. Many organizations and businesses have ombuds, or individuals who are neutral in their capacity, but they might be paid by the employer. They might work at the employer just down the hall from your office. But that person can be instrumental in helping diffuse tense situations. Okay, so like Natalia says, don't be an ostrich, meaning don't put your head in the sand and do like the problem is not going anywhere. The problem can go somewhere else, but you have to learn how to diffuse it. If you are in the situation of being an HR representative, somebody who works in human resources, you might hear bickering and conflict all the time. So how do you deal with it? Just like people in their private lives, you contact a mediator, or you contact a mediator to come into your workplace and help the parties bring some kind of resolution between their issues.
And again, why to try to solve this conflict in an amicable way first? Being a business owner, having employees, you probably don't want to risk and wait until any of the employees brings any sort of claims to the authorities or to the court. That's not going to be well seen. That doesn't add up to your business acumen, that doesn't adapt to your client relationships, and that doesn't adapt to the atmosphere within the entire workplace. So when you think about also how this can be and why it is worthwhile handling it actually, this sort of behaviors, meaning the bullies, and this is interesting, can really be the most valuable workers you have, the best qualified, those who just believe that because of their position in the organization, they're entitled to treat other people in a demeaning, in a disrespectful way, and what sort of ways that can be.
So you could have people making gestures against other people. It can be just belittling through negative words that are being said behind people's backs. It could take the form of gossiping, for example, in the workplace. You can obviously have the obvious types of bullying and harassment. It could be things like a racial slur. It could be something that attacks somebody's religious beliefs. It could be something that attacks somebody's sexual life, where people might actually deliberately make sexual advances. That's also a form of bullying and harassment. And many people say that that's probably the number one most negatively detrimental thing that you see in the workplace sometimes, and that is the issue of sex being used as a weapon in the workplace. Or sometimes people don't think it's a weapon. Sometimes people think, well, it's voluntary, it's consenting, we're adults, what's the problem? But just imagine the different problems that can come up from a situation where there's sexual relationships that are happening between people of different levels in the workplace, meaning between a person and their subordinate, and the kind of negative consequences that might result from that. So we just want you to know that there's lots of different types of bullying and harassment that might happen in the workplace. And some of them are small, but other ones are much, much bigger.
And to these, we would absolutely count those that would embrace things like isolation, being rude, taking credit for someone's work, ridiculing people publicly or in private, or shaming people. And I would want everybody to direct themselves to one of our podcasts that we did with Dr. Lavina Wilkins, who actually specializes in analysis of the workplace conflict. And she also points out something absolutely interesting. Usually the bullies are aware of what they are doing. So they are doing that with intention. So being a business owner, you can't pretend that you don't see it, especially if complaints start coming from employees.
So now you understand the issue at hand. Where do you get some help? Again, we've discussed instantmediations.com, a company that we helped co-found, where we have a list of mediators who are available to help resolve disputes, including disputes in the workplace. So one of the individuals we have, for example, on instantmediations.com is Brett Lovett of Harassment Compliance Training. And he's on Instant Mediations just like we are, because he's a nationally recognized sexual harassment and bullying prevention trainer. And in the spirit of what Instant Mediation stands for, his is one of the best ways to combat potential conflicts in the workplace by engaging people in meaningful, hostile work environments and compliance prevention training. So this is something that is of value, that's available on instantmediations.com, that's available on all the projects that we are working on. It's one of the places that you can go to find relief for when you're having to deal with the number one issue of sexual harassment. Because let's face it, people don't always stay in compliance. People sometimes justify their behavior, or they forget what they learned last year in the last sexual compliance training.
And therefore, please don't hesitate to go on our website that you see on the screen, or on our other website, instantmediations.com, and we'll be absolutely happy to help with either organizing a training. And all that we're saying is for your information, and just please be inspired to look for ways so that your workplace is a safe place for other people, which will provide so many benefits to your company. That will just your investment in solving those problems will be your investment in making this business a safe place and an earning place for yourself as a business owner.
All right, and be sure to check out alaskapeer.com and the LMI podcast, and that's everywhere, including YouTube. All right, take care. That's it for now.
Mac and Natalia, that was some great information. Remember, if you guys need some help, if you got any harassment going on at work, make sure you give the two of them a call. They'll help you out. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on Now Media Television.